it really inspired me. I was like, I want a detective game where everything and every person can be a suspect. Like, you really have to actually do real deduction. Everything is a possible clue, and that's the whole point of this one. Is the whole thing is a possible clue. I saw this Mark Brown video. You know, if you watched any of this channel, you know that I talk about Mark Brown way too much. I was watching one of his videos, and he was talking about like what makes a good detective game. I'll link the video in the description. It's a great video, and he asked a question where he's like, he talks about how mystery games tend to give away the answer.
And that's a pretty good puzzle, right? But for it to work, the game needs to give you notes for the strange phrase, Azil, and also Mundy hung upside down. And that last note can really give the puzzle away. Because turning thoughts into puzzle pieces means that you're not using your own logic, but simply using the logic provided by the game. But to get any better than this, we'd need a system that has no questions and nothing for the player to give as an answer, which is impossible, right? Well, I'm glad you asked.
I wanted to answer that question too in my own way. It really inspired me. I was like, I want a detective game where everything and every person can be a suspect. Like, you really have to actually do real deduction. In VR, I want you to have a camera, and you're like a detective and a photographer, and you go around, you take pictures of anything you want to talk about. So you don't actually speak in the game, like you don't speak in VR, and you just come up and you hold a Polaroid up into someone's face, and then they respond. And it can be a person or a location, and or an item, person, location, or item. And you can hold this up in somebody's face, and they're going to be able to give you some response back. And I've done this proof of concept game in a very rudimentary way, in a very crude way, in a very, very yucky way, because the game looks gross. It's the Game Jam game I did a couple years ago. It's called Joined in Murder, again from Mark Brown's Game Jam. It turned out okay. I got 3.5 stars on it, I think, but it left a lot to be desired visually.
Just hurry up and grab that photo of the murder weapon and a photo of a suspect so we can get going. Just hurry up and grab that photo of the murder weapon and a photo of a suspect so we can get going.
Yeah, there sure was a lot of trash today.
Yeah, that's Harold over there. Nobody liked him. That makes me uncomfortable.
But the game worked, and you didn't take real pictures in the game. I didn't have time to set up like that texture building. And at the time, I didn't have as much knowledge as I do now about how to do those kinds of things. That game did pretty good. A lot of people said they enjoyed the investigation, that they thought it was a really neat concept. That anything, you know, they just needed to kind of go and investigate, kind of really prod people. The negative feedback tended to be there wasn't enough prompting, like they didn't really know what they could do. They didn't really know that the people would, like, part of it was a trust issue. They didn't know they could get information, like good information from these people if they held up the right items. Some people told me they solved it first time. Just by investigating. They said they followed the clues and they figured it out. Other people told me that they could never figure it out. They just kind of held up some random pictures and were just confused. So I think those are learning clarification issues. The fact that I made it in a weekend, problems, but all in all, the feedback about like they really enjoyed like taking pictures to ask questions and exploring the world through pictures was a positive feedback. And so that's the kernel, the root, the very little piece that I want to explode into this mystery VR game. And I've already done some of the preliminary setup. I've already got some assets bought that are going to help streamline the creation of. I've created the project. This thing is officially started. Let me know what you think about the ideas and the concepts, and if you have any good ideas for it below. And I'll start showing you more of it as soon as I have more to show. So. Thanks so much for watching. Like if you like this devlog, and I'll see you guys next time.